Do you want me to change your name back?
Yeah. Like, what the fuck? I was coming in positive.
Oh, how do I do that now?
Redeemed underscore Dylan.
All right,
What the
all right.
fuck, dude? God damn.
That was a little bit of a low
We got
blow.
we got the toxicity out before we hit record. We had to have
Yep.
like a half hour spurg. Well, actually, yeah, like a half hour spurg session before we hit record so we could get all the toxic
Yeah.
um dog trainer community drama out of the way so that we could be positive content creators for today's
Yeah.
show.
And
Because
me just being upset about human nature in general.
yeah, I mean, I would rather just talk about dog training today. But
Yeah.
I did put out a video on my Facebook and my Instagram this morning. You got to switch the E's and redeemed are fucked. So REDEE. Fucking retard.
Yeah.
You guys see the production crew we have for the show? Yeah.
There we go. All right. All right.
There we go. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. And I'll explain why I'm redeemed. I will explain it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I put up a video on my Facebook and my Instagram responding to an extremely autistic and stupid comment thread from balance trainers about how play is just a trend, and it's really upsetting that people are seeing pet trainers playing with their client dogs, and people are really upset that pet trainers are putting out training videos. Like, I I think I laid out my case pretty calmly and succinctly as to why I think that's so dumb. Right now, I'm just trying to convince myself to not get mad, because I hate how quickly people even on our team will try to dissuade people from trying new things that just work, and it's really upsetting and frustrating. None of the people show dog training, by the way, and they're all terrible. Anyways, I am still sick, so we are clocking in at over a week at this point,
Yeah.
and I better be like, I do. I gotta go. I'm going to the TWC Trainer Summit in a week.
Oh, yeah.
I will be fine by then. But in terms of Remy's program, so I've still got
Yeah.
that little twitchy freak show little dog. It has been the most cursed program ever. So it's like I've got this insane reactivity, hypervigilance, anxiety case. I've got 4 weeks. I'm already like, I wonder what I can get done. This is a short period of time. I've been sick now for like half the program, and it also has not stopped snowing in any appreciable sense
Yeah.
in like
What's
six
the
days.
temperature in New York right now?
Well, I was checking the radar because I wanted to go out and train later, and it said 20 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, that's not
Um,
bad. It was it hit negatives here last night, which
did it? Yeah.
very unhappy about. Yeah.
But
Like it's the temperature where dogs are starting to pick up their paws and it's hard to go
right,
outside and it
right,
sucks.
right. And like
Yeah.
Remy, they sent her with boots that I guess I'm just gonna need to start putting boots on her. But it has made it virtually impossible. Not impossible. Like, it's never impossible, but the combination of me being sick and needing to nap like half the day, and also it being just totally destroyed. Like right now, it's like a blizzard outside. Um, has made training Remy really annoying. So I've been going out every morning at 6 a.m. when Home Depot opens, driving through snowstorms to get there, bringing Remy and training. And training is going well for what we were able to do. And also, yesterday we had a brief window in the afternoon where it was clear skies, and I was able to do a dog reactivity setup for the first time and actually address the problem head on. Kimberly Weeks with the rare Facebook comment, um, voicing her opinion about the video and what I did with the dog,
Yeah. It's
which we can
gorgeous.
go into. We can go into. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna be out of town for like 4 days. My friend's gonna be watching Remy. I come back from the trip, and then I've got like less than a week with her, and it sucks. It's really, I'm getting really frustrated because we haven't been able to do, like, I don't want to turn the camera around because you guys are gonna see how messy my room is. But like the outside is actually like a blizzard, and so nobody is outside with their dogs, right? I put Remy's jackets and shit on. Hi, fur. I put Remy's jackets and shit on, and she's still cold. And I like, we just don't have access to the training conditions that we need. And that with pet training, with behavioral stuff, can be very annoying depending on your your region. I
Yeah,
know that
no,
people
literally chasing down dogs, people like that is the hardest part about
brutal. It's
these
brutal.
rehab cases. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awful, and I know that some people in some places of the world will think that it's rich to be complaining about the cold when they have to deal with the heat. Um, I know that in some places during the summer, your training hours are limited to, like, 6 to 9 AM and, like, 8 PM to midnight, like, or, through the night, like, you just had the dog it gets so swelteringly hot. But right now for Remy's program and for shout out for Remy's program, it's just been kind of like a disaster in terms of, what we've had access to, and,
Yeah.
hopefully we get some opportunities here where the weather clears up, and, I'll start taking her out to these public trails and parks and hope that we find dogs.
Yeah.
Um, we will see. I mean, I can arrange to have friends do meetups and stuff like that, but it's so much more limited. Um, and I just don't have a lot of time, which just sucks. It's really frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Uh, it's Fair, by the way, not
Fair,
Fur
fair.
Fur.
Oh,
Yeah, Ferret.
I like. Oh, fair, fair.
Fair.
Um,
Yeah.
do you do much dog training in like dog friendly stores?
Actually, no. I don't know, it's, like, weird to me to be inside a store training, and also the dog-friendly stores that we have around here are, like, pretty small, so I'd have to drive, like, a half hour which I should do more often, but I tend to just, like, go outside at a park where I know that dogs are gonna be, um, but yeah, like, the stores are not I never run into other dogs at the pet-friendly stores around here, so it's just kind of
Mm,
pointless, and then
yeah,
I'm walking down empty aisles, and then I'm like, "Alright, I guess I'm gonna buy a toy for the chihuahua instead of the
yeah,
pot dog." Like, I don't know, it's
yeah.
just weird, 'cause, yeah, even, like, the PetSmarts around here, like, you'll maybe see, like, one other dog, maybe. It's weird. I don't know, but yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
and, like,
depending on the dog.
I don't really go to Home Depot that much, like, I don't know, I
Yeah,
just go outside.
I live in dog friendly stores like a good little TikTok trainer, um, making my content. No,
I
yeah,
also can be more lazy because I have a facility though too, so,
right,
like, I
right,
can do a lot of what if it's cold and I'm like, "Oh, I can't train outside," then I'm like, "I'm just gonna do some stuff in here."
yeah.
Um, I mean, I guess you can train in your house, but I don't know.
I could like
Yeah.
I may play with Remy in my living room today, but I
Yeah.
like we need to be out in the world. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's so crucial because she's terrible, dude. She's awful. Um,
Yeah.
she's like really in trouble mentally because
Yeah,
we
so
were able to
let's talk
take.
about, you were kind of starting to talk about her, like, hypervigilance stuff on your Q&A, and like, that's kind of a topic
Yeah,
I wanted to get into a little bit.
yeah. It's like one of the most brutal things to contend with.
Yeah.
Um, because I think for some dogs, they do just naturally go to that place. But the things that we've been able to do, again, with me having AIDS and it being like a winter wonderland outside, the things that we've been able to do have made improvements. But you can see the conflict in her mind. Something as simple as like we're out in a neighborhood again. Yesterday we had a window of time where it was not snowing, so I was able to run a dog reactivity setup in the morning, and then early afternoon I took her back out. Um, and she shouldn't be super fresh. You know what I mean? We just had a lot of fun. She got to play with dogs. That's kind of a spoiler. A huge part of my dog reactivity rehab strategy is direct socialization, play with other dogs. Um, so this is sort of ideal conditions where she's rested, but not she shouldn't be like twitchy, right? And we go to a neighborhood and I get her out of the car and you can already see just being on the street surrounded by houses and driveways like puts her into a state of like a kid could be like I don't even know, like in the garage fucking around like fixing his bike or something. And she is like, I need to know everything about that. I have to. Let alone the dog thing, which is fucking crazy. Not so much now. I mean, it still is, but we've made big headways, even though we've only had one session directly dealing with it. Um, but like dogs in windows, this is something that's sort of a savior for training in the winter, is that if you need dogs, you will still have dogs at glass doors and at windows going
Right.
nuts.
Real
Uh,
dogs behind real doors.
Right. Yes, yes, yes. So that is elite ball knowledge. Shout out to my boy Nick's Canine Training. Nick's Canine Training, the greatest inanimate object sensitivity trainer in the UK. I hope things are going well. I certainly don't hope that horrible things happen to him. Great dude. Um, holy shit, that guy. Uh, so
Anyway, real
so
dog
she
behind.
will she will there'll be like a Pomeranian or like a Lhasa Apso, so the usual
Yeah.
suspects
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
glass door, doing that shit. And she just can't. It's just and I got on her a little bit, and the way she looked at me was like, "Dude, I'm trying. Like I'm trying."
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
which is better, which is way better, because before she
Yeah.
would just take whatever you did to her and would just
Yeah.
keep,
Just
or
eat it.
she would eat the food while still freaking out, which is crazy. Um, Now she's at least like entertaining the idea that I should be trying to do something different. It's just that at least right now she actually can in some cases. And this is where my strategy with the teaching the heel in a really flat kind of low key way, actually I have seen be beneficial. So I am doing differential reinforcement, or like she's in that state. Maybe I tell her to knock it off. I see some of the conflict. She's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I'm like, hey. And like I very diplomatically and encouragingly pat my leg, invite her into heel. Oh, I know that one. I know that one. And giving her a chance to heal out of that situation, where if she looks over her shoulder to start, I can be like, hey, and just verbally scold her. That has been, like, we were able to do that. It's just that, again, because of weather limitations, it's been one session where we truly did that, which was yesterday. And I'm not sure if that's actually going to contribute to a behavioral change, or if we're just managing. And the only way to know is to try, but I can't. Like, it is actually just the Antarctic outside right now. So I need to try to find these windows where we can test it more. Um, and I do want to go back to trying to bring a toy, and she won't carry a toy. That's the thing.
Interesting. Yeah.
She'll like pretend to carry it.
Yeah.
She'll spit it out,
Yep.
and then I'm not looking at it. And then when you go to pick it up, she'll try to engage in possession. So that's just her way to play. It's very funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And like we'll do that, but she won't carry the binky and just thrash it. Though I am gonna go back to carrying it and seeing if I can just cue her to it. And then if she starts acting like an idiot again and spits the toy out, then I'll get on her, remind her, "Hey, toy." Like, these are
Hmm.
things that I want to do, and I know I keep circling back to it because I'm upset, but like the timing, like I just don't have a lot of time. Um,
Yeah.
hopefully, if need be, I can take her back at some
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So, like, couple interesting potential points on even like the differential reinforcement. And I think this is where like we can actually get into the nuance of how do you handle hypervigilance and like honestly, I think hypervigilance is almost like too specific for what I'm thinking of because I almost am just thinking of like over arousal, which I know is like super broad, but it's not even that Remy has like real suspicion or like defense where she's like Ingo was hyper vigilant in the way of like she's actually
Right.
kind of feeling some nervousness. Remy is just like
Mhm.
fucking
An idiot.
psycho.
She's an idiot.
Yeah,
She's just a moron.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
actually just a moron that feels like she needs to be doing things all the time.
yep, yep,
You
yeah.
know what I
So I
mean?
think they're the sort of what feels like the obvious answer is punishment to go like, hey, stop doing that. But that doesn't really work with dogs like this in the beginning.
Right.
Um, and kind of harken back to I forget which specific episode it was, but using obedience to kind of call the dog's bluff and go, okay, now I can provide contingency and clarity and yada yada. Um, like that use of punishment can work for sure. But I think like even okay, so with her eating food frantically, even though she's eating it, like not really wanting to take the toy, like that's the kind of stuff that I think people can get really stuck in and can
Yes.
be very ineffective, but
Yes.
also a couple of tweaks can make it extremely effective and bring it out of management mode into, hey, we're actually giving the dog another pathway.
So
Um, yeah,
can I tell you what I would be doing if this
yes,
wasn't happening?
yes,
24 hours a day for the last
yep,
week, okay?
yep,
Um, like you were saying, and actually someone asked me this on my Instagram question thingy where they were like, "Do you punish hypervigilance?" And I said, "I'm not opposed to it, but I haven't had a lot of success with it." Wow, shocker, guys. Someone just said that he's not good at something or it doesn't work when he's tried it before. That's fucking crazy. Wow, that was so hard for me to do that. Fuck, man. Holy shit. So when I have tried getting on dogs for that historically in the past, at least like you said the important part, the early on part.
yep,
Um, I think that for a dog like Remy, the physical force you would have to generate
yes.
to compete with what's going on in her mind would be I actually don't know if 4 electric collars could actually dissuade her from what she does. And
No,
I
and I
have
think her interpretation of it at that moment is
may
just
not be
never going
clear.
to
It won't
be
be clear.
what.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It won't be
yeah,
clear. So, because her mind is in such a and her
yeah,
emotional state are in such volatile
yeah.
areas.
Like this
Um,
is a little bit of a tangent, but I think is kind of again one of those nuances of like prong collar can create aggression. Of
oh
course,
my
that's not
god.
like objectively true, but I
Yeah.
think this is one of the like in sport, like you'll hear people talk about like activating versus like passive tools. So like a pinch collar, e-collar activating, whereas like a slip lead would be passivating, which isn't a word, but very European. But that idea of there are certain inputs where if a dog is not interpreting it in any way attached to the human communication, they are going to interpret it as a stimulation. And I think that like Remy is the type of dog that will do that sort of automatically, where like
Yeah.
if you smacked her on the butt and we're like, go get him, girl, like she'd be like, fuck yeah. Um,
She would be looking harder. She would be
yes,
like
yes.
going harder. Yeah.
Yep. So
Yeah.
like
So
using a pinch collar and e-collar without her understanding that it's meant to be an interrupter is going to just be actually probably strengthening the behavior,
yeah.
which is where that like myth comes from of like pinch collar straight aggression, because
Right.
that is what can happen. And like that is the tricky part about these dogs, is that you cannot find a physical force that is going to just implicitly become an interrupter, and that's where
Right.
people
Right.
get
And
stuck.
you could make an argument maybe you go auditory like a pet corrector. Um,
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
something
something novel. Yep,
I'm strongly considering. Now that I say that, I'm actually kind of feeling fucking
yep.
retarded.
Or
Why I haven't tested
squirt
that
bottle
yet.
is always my like go-to,
Right.
just like squirt
Right.
bottle in the face, where
Yep.
it's just like
Yep.
so outside of the expectation.
Yep.
Um,
So
but yeah,
the novelty
yep,
um of the air can. I'm gonna go for that at some point. Again, if at all I get a chance to walk again outside, I'll go for it. But
yeah,
what I'd be doing if it wasn't like this outside,
yep,
um, something that is ferociously, viciously powerful that has to be overcome is what Remy's concept of the purpose of the walk is.
yep, yep,
That is probably I mean, her genetics for sure are crazy. But I actually think the more destructive force that we are contending with as a team is she is utterly and completely convinced that leash on my collar out on the street means seek and destroy. Now,
Yep.
not the destroy part, but like the seeking part.
Yeah. No, it
Seek
literally is like I
the
put my
purpose.
agitation collar on the
Yes.
dog and he's like bite
Yes.
work mode. Like it's just so
Yes.
heavily
It
conditioned.
would be the
Yep.
same thing. You're walking your dog out onto the field
Yep.
to do protection. The dog
Yep.
knows, like he's just like, this is, I am going to start changing because
Yep.
I know what the
And
purpose of this is.
breaking that expectation in an untrained dog is wildly
Brutal,
difficult. Like,
brutal. So
yep.
what I
Yep.
would be doing, what I
And
would be
can
doing
actually be
is
dangerous, in some sense. But anyway, sorry. Yeah, go on.
it's you have to get repetitions
Yes.
that prove the opposite or
Yes.
some different way, some different
Yep.
outcome, right?
Yep. Like
So
break the A to B classical conditioning and go A
yeah,
does not always lead to B. Yep.
yes, yes. So likely what I would do if we had access to just like walking all the time, we
Yep.
would get up in the morning. We would be good little bitch force-free trainers.
Yep.
Well, actually, no, because we'd be having fun because we would play first, and they don't like that. We
Yep.
would play. We would play really fucking hard. Well, and we're going to assume in this world, I'm at where we're at now, where I've already installed the heal command as a conditioned behavior with the associated kind of low key, flat, boring emotions that we have. Um, so we would get up in the morning and we would play possession extremely hard, like 15, 20 minutes with the wedge, just beating the absolute dog shit out of each other, right?
Yep.
We would chill for 5 minutes, let her get some water, and then I would take her out to a neighborhood and we would go for a walk. Now, the part that makes us good little bitch force free trainers is we would do this at like 5 in the morning.
Yep.
Or we would do this earlier in the morning in a place that begins to approximate a neighborhood, but it's sort of like a hybrid, where it's like a hybrid between more of like a country area, but there are some houses here and there, right? And on that walk, I mean, you can do a bunch of different things to try to pattern this in. You could turn the walk into play, like we play with each other on the walk. I wouldn't because I am trying to cultivate more of a low key emotional atmosphere, and also it's not sustainable for a dog owner. Like when she gets adopted one day, I don't want the owner to think that they have to be a possession games player to walk their dog to the mailbox. Like that's ridiculous. Um, but something like a very low key heal command with a very boringly flat delivered food reward, um, or something you could do, you could put going on a jog on cue, where it's like the new mission on the walk is we have these rest periods, physical rest periods where maybe we're healing or I'm letting you sniff the mailboxes. And then periodically I'm going to call you in and we're going to run. And now on the run, there's no time. It's like, no, this is what we are doing while we are out on the street. Right. The new mission is we're doing cardio. Right. Um, and that that effect, making her when she comes out to go out on leash to the street, at least have a second thought of like, I wonder what we're going to be doing versus this right now. It's this single minded. I am coming out here with my ears stiff, my eyes peeled. I mean, she has fucking frog ears. They kind of go in opposite sides of her head, so she could see like not 360, but she could see like 270. Right?
Yeah.
She is waiting for fucking blades of grass to blow in the wind to get wired on. Right? Making it so that we are going out and doing just totally energetically opposite like things and consistently doing them as a pattern would be what I would do. We would do that 3 times a day, 4 times a day, no joke. And maybe they'd be shorter walks, but we would go out there every fucking day, 3, 4, 5 times. I don't care. Like I'm fucking crazy. You guys know I'm fucking crazy. That's why you're here. People say I'm crazy. I'm Dylan's having another mental breakdown. Oh, he's on drugs. Um, uh, so that overwhelming repatterning of, and not overwhelming like she feels bad about it. She would actually enjoy it. That's actually the thing, is that she would feel like this is something worth doing. I like doing this. And then, like you were referring to earlier, if we're in a jog, a commanded jog, where you know this means I'm going to keep up with Dylan. I love running with Dylan. Head forward. Let's do this. If at that point a dog barks out of a window and you go, well, hang on, Dylan, I'm busy. Dude, what are you doing? Right. This is like totally antithetical to this new thing, this new mission that we have. You know what I'm saying? That would be my preference on how to approach it.
So, not saying that won't work. I think it definitely will. But to kind of promote the discussion or push the discussion forward, um, I think in my mind, it's like, okay, but what if, and this is exactly why people run into issues with like typical differential reinforcement protocols, and counter conditioning and et cetera. What if a dog does just pop around the corner? Because
Yeah.
at that point, so like of what I was thinking of this kind of as you were talking is this very almost feels a little bit of an insurmountable obstacle, which then I could talk about like how I would potentially go about getting over it. But you're like, okay, we're gonna go outside, we're gonna make calm, relaxing walk, deadpan heel, whatever. Dog pops around the corner, and Remy's gonna go, sweet, I'm gonna
Yeah.
pop off. Potentially, you could punish the explosion. Like, let's say you told her heel, she broke to go bark at that dog, whatever, lunge at that dog. You could punish that with clarity and go, hey, back into the heel. But I don't think that your call. I don't think the emotion. I don't think your conditioning and the heel command would overcome the conditioning of the dog. Like I think she would stay in that
Oh yeah, no doubt. But that
arousal spike, right? But so then we kind of still encounter this problem of okay, now we're kind of on this like variable reinforcement schedule where she's
yeah.
like, okay, but maybe, but maybe, but maybe,
Yep.
and that becomes really difficult.
So
Like real life gets in the way, right? Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
okay. See, I raised my hand like a good little cuck. All right. The future is female. The future is female.
Yes, thank
Um
you.
um I just have so many responses.
Yeah, yep,
Just too many responses.
yes.
So first thing, yeah, the variable schedule of reinforcement thing is sort of like one of the how many nails in the force-free coffin. Because all of their strategies revolve on ideal scenarios where the dog doesn't get to indulge on the reinforcing event anymore. Um, and that's why us, the Giga Chad balance bras, we have punishment to shut shit off. Um, but here's my response to that portion of the statement. It's already on a variable schedule of reinforcement. Um, and and absolutely it is brutally suboptimal to have those random things happen, but they are I factor them in to my acceptable losses category. And this is something that has just kind of been bashed into my head through just experimentation because I am very much consistently an advocate for getting behavioral case dogs outside, like out in public as early as possible. I am a huge proponent of it, and we don't have to actually go into why. That could be another episode.
Mhm.
We're just cultivating content here. Everything is content. But I'm talking about like explosive dogs. If on the second day I can safely get them in and out of my car, we're going places, right? And one of the aside from me being able to get the dog in and out, I don't really care. It's more so for the dog safety. Um, but the big condition is that it can't be so overwhelming that the dog is just blowing up the entire fucking time, right? So let's say I take Remy out on a walk and we're halfway through it and everything's going according to plan and suddenly a fucking dog comes up and it's a fucking disaster, right?
Mhm.
my focus at that point is letting her come down. Like, we are no longer going to keep walking. That's we would call it like breaking progression in that way, maybe. Like, we're not allowing forward progress. We're not allowing forward progress while you're in that state anymore, right? So we will just exist until I see her come back down, and then I will double the length of what I intended the rest of the walk to be. To try to salvage it and try to override. Because when you deal with really explosive, fearful dogs, this is another, oh my God, for fearful dogs, okay? I remember um a moment with this dog, extremely human aggressive too, Charlie the Krispy Kreme raccoon, who's by the way doing fantastic. His whole journey is on my Instagram. Um, he had every behavioral issue in high quantities, just a ridiculous dog. I think back in its board, like it's actually like he was created in a laboratory to destroy dog trainers, which is why I loved him. But he, in addition to the serious human aggression, he was also extremely noise sensitive, like brutal,
Mm,
brutal. Someone slams a car door down the road and he is looking to dive under a car to hide. I'm being
ugh.
literal, by the way. And there was one day we had our first good walk, and he's like coming over to me for affection, which is just this is just unheard of.
Mhm.
Just as the thought crosses my mind, let's start getting back home. What do you think starts happening at the firing range that's like half a mile from
Uh,
the place that we're
yeah.
walking?
Yep.
Um, I could have cried. I could have cried. I was so defeated. Um, because with some of these behavioral case dogs, whether you're trying to get them into a state of calm to not be hypervigilant or reactive, whether you're trying to get them into a state of calm because you're trying to get them to be at peace,
Yep.
it can be as if you are rubbing sticks together in the Amazon trying to start a spark.
Yep.
And you can be so diligent and good faith and empathetic, and you can just bite down and go as hard as possible, and it can start raining, and there's nothing you can do about it. And at that point, like I realized at that point, like there is just no way. It would be great if I could expand this to other parts of my life. There are no ways for me to impact what happens in that firing range. Therefore,
Yep.
I just need to accept that this
Yep.
was bad and move on.
Yep.
Um, but what I tried to do to loop it back,
Very
what
stoic of you. Yeah.
right. What I tried to do, yeah, I'm actually just like Marcus Aurelius reborn. That's what I've been told that I would never say that about myself. People have said it. Um, so I tried to stay like we're not going to end on that. So waiting for the shots to stop, letting him hide underneath the fucking grill that was over there. He dives under a grill, and I just sat down next to him. He comes out. It's like we can't go inside right now. So we spend another 15 or 20 minutes doing his favorite thing at the time, which was me kicking rocks into the water. And he loves to chase the splashes, right? And then we go inside. Do I think that was a good session? No, it wasn't. But we averted catastrophe, right? So in the case of the dog showing up on this walk, it's going to happen at some point. Try to spend more time after the fact reestablishing that emotional state you were looking for. And hopefully it becomes at least part of the narrative the dog tells himself when you're going to load him back into the crate, right? Um, so another fuck, there were other things I wanted to say on that because you had a multifaceted response. What were the other
Yeah.
things you said?
Um, basically, like overcoming the conditioning of thing A, like
Yeah.
trying to break the classical conditioning.
Oh.
And then, like, it's kind of the scenario is going to run itself a little bit, and you
Yeah,
don't have a
yeah.
way to stop it.
Well, you also there's a very specific reason why I'm doing this multiple times a day, and we're playing hard before each walk. And I'm willing to turn that dial as to how hard we play and how long we play for. I am trying to make it disadvantageous to the dogs biological self to fly off the handle. I am trying to put her biology into a state of recovery.
Yep. Like, it almost becomes incompatible
Right. It
for
doesn't
her
make
to.
sense. It
Yeah,
does not make
yeah,
sense. Right.
yeah.
And I am not talking about doing like a forced march trail of tears
Yeah.
where like I put her on a treadmill until her paws rip up. That's not what I'm talking about. It's
Yeah.
truly, man, you like that one. that one that one got you, yeah. But I'm talking
No,
about really.
I have this intrusive thought that I, like, need to say. I literally, with your, like, redeemed when I misspelled it, I totally missed a joke where I could have been like, "Oh, but it's Riri."
Sorry for the
Anyway,
coughing. Hopefully
yeah,
the edit gets the coughing out.
yeah, yeah. Anyway,
Um so I'm
it's like
talking
playing to
about.
satiation, not.
Right, satiation.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's a satisfaction in her mind,
Mhm.
not a desperate recovery.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like a satisfied recovery. This is
yeah,
actually an interesting point, that my buddy Zach DeVore, great friend of the program, he's a dog trainer. He made a good point when I was running ideas by him about Remy. I was talking to him about teaching her the heel, when she is in a pre-exhausted state, to try to pattern in those emotions. He actually made the point, and this isn't necessarily directly related. He said, make sure the first like 1 to 3 times you teach the heel, it's actually not in that state, because it's harder for a dog to learn an obedience behavior like that when they're in that state,
yep.
because it's not. It again, it goes against
You're taking away the
the
motivation,
right,
essentially. Yeah,
the readiness of the brain, and all of these types of things. So for teaching obedience, that's actually not ideal. But for trying to dissuade a dog from doing explosive behaviors, it's very ideal. So I taught the heel when she was still alert and ready. And then I started using it when she's in a state of that satiated, calm, tired recovery. So that she already has it patterned in. She's not trying to pick up a new behavior. She's falling back on one she already knows. Um, and then you get the intended benefit of the brain not being primed for explosion, and that like seeking and constant twitchiness. And when you add on top of that, again, going into like a jog, you know, it is, that state where it's like towards the end of practice where we're doing one more run, that it does actually feel good to sort of be not winded, but already feel like we've been at it for a little while, and we're gonna go for one more light run. I guess maybe people would call it a recovery run. I don't know, but
yeah. Cool
like
down.
that,
Yeah.
the cool down, yeah, that actually feels. I mean, I'm brutally out of shape, but I can remember. All right, I
Yeah,
can
I
remember.
can
I'm
remember
gonna
back
be
in the day.
no, I'm gonna be a dog trainer. You guys, I'm gonna be a principled, balanced community leader right now. You guys just trust me. I was a stud. I've actually I've accomplished so much in cardio and in physical fitness. Don't ask for me to perform anything. Just if you do ask me, you're a fucking bully and you hate black people. Um, so uh, that is the state that you could try to achieve with that jog. And man, if it wasn't brutal outside, we would be doing this all the time.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's sort of where I'm coming from with that, I guess.
Yeah. So alternative thought. 'Cause I think, like, where I always, because hmm, there are strategies like this that come up in bite sports as well, and I've kind of like alluded to it with like food scatters and just like um how do we break that hyper arousal uh in various and different contexts. And it's always like, okay, go to food scatter, lower arousal behavior, whatever, whatever. But at some point, the dog has to confront the dichotomy of, there's your trigger over here that has been so paired to high arousal, and I'm asking you to do something lower arousal, and having a way to make that imperative. And I think that's a huge sticking point, and there's like various strategies to get around that. But like that to me is like the core of the critique. I mean, you said it with like the variable reinforcement. It's basically that, but like that's the core of the critique of why these things sort of break down is that you do end up either having to manage around a reality or control the reality if you can in like a sport context, or having to kind of like try your best and then sort of skate over it, but it ends up going down as this like what you're talking about with Charlie, where it's like, it wasn't ideal, but like overall, it's probably fine. Which again is true, but in that moment, you can't really do anything.
Right.
And again, like that's just a reality. There's definitely certain situations like fear based, like you can't you can't force a dog into happiness or whatever. But I think in Remy's case, it is a little bit more it's less of a like eh, trauma emotion, for lack of a better word, and more of just
Right.
like a unhinged stupidity.
Right.
And that to me is where like I would prefer to build in a level of insistence on a certain state of arousal. Um, and like to me, that would be okay, you're feeding her treats and she's still eating them frantically. I feel like my response to that would be okay, throw the treats on the ground and negative reinforcement into hunting behavior and force her
Yeah.
into a lower arousal. Because I think like my my thought process or with the toy, it's like you must hold this and you must be in a certain part of the play cycle in possession in this certain state of arousal. And like it feels weird to even like talk about forcing this because I know that people are not really understand what I mean by this. Because it's more just like gentle insistence rather than like kapow. But I think Remy is the type of dog, and you see it all the time in sport world where the dog believes that there's so many options and so many doors open, and it creates this like frantic anxiety. Okay, go ahead. Wait, no, I'm gonna finish my thought. And then what I want to do is close the door on all of those other options at some point very firmly. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Lost
You
my
are
train of thought
explaining,
anyway.
no, you are explaining giving the walk a different meaning.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you just explained two more potential purposes.
Yeah. But I
One of
think
them,
my like potential disagreement, which again it's not real because I know your way will work, but I think where people struggle is like sometimes you have to bring the dog through the gateway of higher arousal activity B that is at least different from going off at the trigger, bring them through that gateway and then down into lower arousal. And that gives you a pathway to sort of force lower arousal in a way
mhm,
that might be difficult in just in a kind of a loose heel position because it's not a truly incompatible behavior. Like the dog can be kind of like
yeah.
again, like
Well,
I you'd be hard pressed to get clarity in that early on in the program. And I think having a target behavior into a drive object first and then I'm going to create a de-escalation in that drive goal in the way that I'm presenting it, that can be a more like guaranteed path to success than a little bit of a kind of a behavior that is a step towards a goal, but not the goal itself. Does that make sense? Like I can use negative reinforcement into an actual drive behavior that is very intrinsically makes sense to the dog and has its own purpose that is completely incompatible with the other purpose that they were seeking. Satisfy that and then go, hey, now that I have sort of made this level of clarity, we can go a notch down from that. Do you know what I mean?
yes, and it is still, but it still is giving a different purpose because you could
Yeah,
teach the
yeah,
dog,
yeah.
you could teach the dog a forced hold.
Yes. But I think even
So
that to me would be much more difficult to get than going through Like that to me is like the link that I think it can be very helpful for people that couldn't go directly to a forced hold. Like you and I could go directly to a forced hold,
But the
but I
food
think it
so
would be much
the
better
food
to
scattering
go.
the
Yeah.
food scattering is another one. Like, that's
Yes.
a very good one. That's especially if you have unfortunately, Remy is not she just doesn't search well, she's not gear I mean, she's like a
But like I
terrier.
think you could make
Cultivate
that.
it. You could
Yeah.
cultivate it,
Yeah.
outside of the issue, which is probably the
Yes.
most important
Yes.
part, is outside of
Yes.
the issue,
Teach her
um,
to hunt.
teach her to
Yeah.
hunt for maybe even a food item that is kinda chewy and it takes
Yep.
time to for them to kinda, like so
Yep.
that just creates a lower, like, I have to focus on this
Yep. Yeah.
arousal, in a positive like you're explaining, like, a way that the dog naturally, like, "No,
Well, and
this
I,
is
I think
cool."
like I almost what I'm kind of trying to get at is like I want to create an incompatible, and it's what you were saying with exhaustion. So again, it's like not that different, but the difference between like an incompatible mindset where like I am forcing the dog into a task that they cannot be thinking about, being hyper vigilant, over aroused, whatever. It is impossible for them to think about that. Whereas I think with like a forced hold, yeah, like they could be holding an object and still spike themselves into a state of mind that
But
is,
but
and
but
still do the
knowing
behavior. And then
knowing
you don't
Remy
have a way to like clearly
knowing Remy, what would she do,
enforce
though?
that.
What would she likely do?
Well, she'd drop it.
Mhm. Well, I'm demanding it.
Okay, so like you're demanding a forced hold in front of another dog.
Yeah, we're walking and it's, "No, you carry the toy now."
Okay. If you were demanding it, I feel like okay. Okay, tell me, because I have like 20 different answers that probably none of them are actually like super accurate because I'm not
She
answering
would
your actual question.
she would keep walking and she would squeeze and thrash.
Okay, that's mostly what I was gonna say.
That's
But then,
exactly what
because
she would
to
do.
me, that's not a forced hold.
Why not? You have to keep this
Because
bullshit in your
like
mouth.
because I'm thinking like so okay, this is like kind of a stupid argument because it's just semantics. But like to me, a forced hold is like you must hold calmly and like
Who are you
without
talking
thrashing
to?
or chewing.
Who are you
I know.
talking to right now?
That's
All
why I
right?
was like, this
I
is kind of
live
stupid.
I'm a Pokemon.
But that to me, like that to
I'm a
me is like
Pokemon.
that might as well be a toy then. Like that's what I would do with a
Yeah,
toy.
but she like but I mean, you are talking to an actual Pokemon, all right? So nothing matters. It's all bullshit. It's all retarded and comedic and Looney Tunes and like so no, she's not when I refer to a force hold, it definitely isn't like a real force hold. It is
Yeah,
literally
yeah.
just it is
To
the
me, that's
bare
like forced possession. Like,
right. Well, it's just like I'm going by just strictly the English, which is this is in your
yeah,
mouth
yeah,
and you
yeah,
have to, you know,
yeah.
and I would call it I would be like I'd be
How
like
dare you?
I'd be
How dare
like
you use the actual definition of a
right.
word in an
Well,
argument?
and how would I do you think I would hold? No, I'd go carry it or some stupid shit like that, right? Get
Yeah,
it? Like
yeah,
some dumb shit like that. But
yeah,
the idea would be that this is in your mouth,
yeah,
and if you spit it out, there's a penalty for it,
yeah, 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 yeah.
right? And it would be probably very easy to teach her this
So I get
because
like why didn't you do that with the toy? Because like to me that would be
I'm
the more
retarded.
obvious.
No, genuinely, because
Yeah.
I'm retarded and I didn't
Okay.
think of it.
'Cause, like that's what I was getting at is like I would prefer with like if I had Remy, which again this is like such a stupid argument. But if I had that dog, then I would force her to play in front of another dog in a way that she is actually truly
Yeah, yeah.
100% in play.
No,
Because
so
like that's what I'm getting at is like that's what people miss is they're like, okay, we're trying this incompatible behavior around the other dog or the trigger, whatever, and it's not working. And I would argue, but
yeah,
like you didn't actually teach that, like you didn't actually get them
right.
into that behavior. You didn't get them into hunting. Didn't get them into playing.
They're
And
not
like the reason
committed.
I'm kind of like going off
They're not
about this
committed
is
to it.
like,
Yeah.
correct. Like you see this all the time where people will be like, oh, but I tried that with like playing around a helper or decoy to get neutrality. And you look at their play and you're like, but the
It's
dog
just
isn't committed to
cheeks.
you at all.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
it's like the
Yeah.
dog is just like, oh, you're waving the toy in front of my
So
face. I'm going like that, you know.
so
So like,
this is
but that's where people get stuck because then they're like,
right.
okay, now I have to do obedience. But the
Yeah,
dog isn't prepared to do obedience because
right.
their mindset is already
It's not
like people
conducive to
get
it.
stuck in forcing obedience and then the dog ends up in conflict in the obedience because they didn't check that box and go,
This,
has the
but
dog gone through this gateway that I need to happen
I
before we
actually
ask
am
for
just,
something?
I'm actually just going to say something.
Okay.
All right. This is too hard for people to do. Because of
Actually,
one
this
thing,
is the other topic I wanted to get into
because
is
of one
how
thing.
difficult it is to give advice over the internet. Yeah, go
It's too
ahead.
hard. No, no, no. I'm telling you mechanically it's too hard.
I know. I know.
But this is it. Do you want to know what the issue that people could, the
Yeah.
thing that people could not do?
Yep.
The concept, and it blew my
Yep.
mind. Blew my mind the first time it was introduced to me.
Yeah.
You can guess who introduced it, all right? The concept of
Michael
co-
Shikashu.
yeah. Holy shit.
Okay, sorry, sorry.
Um yeah.
I'm in too much of a silly goofy mood today. Anyway, go ahead. Go ahead.
Someone in my comment section referred to him as Michael Shikash Kawio. It made me so, it's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
This is where people can't, they wouldn't be able to do this.
Yeah.
And I'm going to actually be attempting it, because if you hey, rewind the stream. All
Yep.
right. I'm not repeating myself. No. Um, I said I'm going to be taking the toy back out on a walk
Okay.
because there's something I want to
Okay.
do.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is
yeah.
what I wanted to do. Maybe I'm
Okay.
retconning, maybe I'm coping. Oh my
No,
god,
you did
Dylan's
say that.
trying to
You
go.
did say that.
I did. I did. I want to punish her for leaving the game.
Correct.
People
Yes.
can't do that. They don't know how to do that, and they are
Correct.
horrified to do it because that
Yep.
was me. I
Yep.
was petrified of that. Like the idea that you could tell a dog, no, dude. 'Cause I think in Chase and Catch, there is it is covered, I
Yes.
believe, with a
Yeah,
young
it's
German
like the
Shepherd.
puppy. Yep, the puppy
Yes,
gets
goes
distracted
to
by a
sniff.
leaf. Yep,
Yes,
and he's like,
and
"Hey, dude, that's
hey,
not."
dude, pop, pop, pop. What the fuck are you
Yep.
doing? Right, and then
Yep.
they're back into the game.
Yep.
That, because, and only because, the get 'em possession cue has been nuclear. I mean, she does it. She's just crazy, so it's easy.
Yeah.
Has
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
conditioned to be
Yep.
pretty insane,
Yep.
right? She knows what that means. What her she wants to do the thing,
Yes.
right? And we've played so much together, so hard outside of the issue. It would be interesting to see how she responded if, instead of trying to get her back with the toy like you would earlier in stages of training, I go, yo, or give her conditioned punisher. No. And go pop her leash and be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Guarantee you'd get beautiful gameplay after that, and
Right.
then okay, now
Right.
let's walk off. Go
After
carry. Yep. Yep.
after a moment of recognition.
1000%.
So making sure I'm not whipping the toy out immediately, making the toy live. This is not reinforcement, right? I'm not trying to be like, no, neater, neater. It's like, yo, dude,
Yep.
you cannot do that.
You walked off the soccer field in the middle of a game.
Right.
I'm gonna talk to you about
You
it.
get
Yep.
flagged. It's something like,
Yep.
dude, what are you doing? And then when I get that moment of like submission to authority, like, whoa, got it. Then it's like, and I give the cue again and invite back in. That would be ideally what would happen.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's what I mean by like firmly closing the door on the
Hmm.
other option and then providing something where it's a guarantee that the dog can do it. Because I don't think it's a guarantee that a dog could heal
Right.
after that punishment. A dog
Right.
like Remy, I think, would like what you're saying earlier,
It'd be
where it
conflicting.
literally is like, yes. So it, like we were talking about in the previous podcast, where you can use an obedience behavior to sort of test if the dog is just going to go like, all right, fuck you, I'm not going to pay attention to that, and blow you off, use that as a clear contingent punishment, yada yada. That works, but I think the dog needs to be a certain level of in control, and like have a certain level of like, what's the word? Emotional regulation, I guess. But then going, hey, now I'm asking you to do not an obedience behavior, but just to fucking play with me or hunt or something. Like I'm telling you to be a dog right now,
Yeah. How could
and
you
shutting the
disagree?
door on the
How
soccer
could you
thing. Right,
disagree?
right,
You
right.
are
Like,
dumb if you disagree. Like that's
yeah,
stupid.
like
So how does it feel? How does it feel in the year of our Lord 2025 that you, yes, you, just had to convince me to leave the food in my pocket and bring out the tug toy? And it's actually what's going to happen.
that
That
is
actually,
really funny.
what sort
This
of
is really funny.
fucking bizarro existence did we just phase into? It was like
Yeah.
universes converged for a second, and
Yeah.
you were
Alternate
talking to
reality.
the
Yeah.
gay Lima version of me.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
pussy, play with the dog.
I
That's
like the
certainly will
reason
be
I
what I
like kind of
do.
wanted to press on that is like back to the question of can you punish hypervigilance or over arousal? I don't think you can. And like one strategy is to go, let's create an obedience behavior that is feels incompatible to the over arousal, but it's almost like you're stacking behavior A against behavior B, that can be done. So
Yeah.
like Gaston with reacting at another dog, it was at a level where he was like doing the behavior almost out of, I don't want to say a habit because it was deeper than that, but like he
No, it
felt
is.
like
You're
this
right.
was the thing to do at this moment, but he
Right.
wasn't like incapable and out of his mind. He wasn't
Right.
incapable of like coming back to a baseline and actually
Yes.
comprehending an obedience command. So then we can go, hey, I'm telling you that you must do obedient or sorry, behavior B and enforce that via aversive control. And those two things are evenly matched in like the
Yeah.
math, right?
Yes.
But if
Yes.
we
Yes.
go, hey, you are in an incompatible or you are in emotion A, and I try to give you an obedience behavior, like emotion A versus behavior B, emotion A is always going to win and you can't punish emotion. So then you get stuck in this like, okay, now what? So now we need to stack emotion A versus emotion B. And I can create emotion reliably via a drive goal that I can present to the dog and then make that a punishable offense if you leave the game. And now that makes sense. Like I like that's where people get stuck is they try to pit a conditioned a conditioned emotion in a behavior against a conditioned emotion in something that the dog is like heart and soul, like, oh my God, I need to do this.
Yeah.
And that's like that math does not work.
This is so.
And
This is
that's,
so
yeah,
TWC coded of you. This is so like TWC coded.
is it
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah,
too
you
bad I won't
know.
be at the
Stop.
trainer summit.
Yeah, I know. I'm just fucking. No, I got.
Anyway,
I got some buddies. I got some buddies going.
yeah,
So there is. I just everything you said is I think objectively correct. And the thing that you're discriminating between is the two energetic and emotional states that the different types of dogs are in. Where it's like dog A that's being retarded is still on planet Earth, um, and can be interacted with, and it's closer to reach his
or
emotional
in
state.
operance. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
It's easier to reach his emotional state with a conditioned calm obedience cue because
yeah,
he's not dog retard dog B who is in a state of
yes,
pure hysteria.
yes. Like
Um,
Remy just cannot.
she's hysterical. Yeah, she's actually
It's
in a hysterical state.
and again, I'm picturing a Malinois in front of a
Yes,
decoy
yes,
that like
yes,
you
yes,
just
and
blocked them,
yes,
and that level of frustration of blockage from a drive goal is
right.
insane. Like I don't
And
think that can be overstated.
there is a level like there is actually like a body language thing. I know that she's getting better because she is conflicted about it. She she at some level knows like this just isn't the right thing to do,
You're
but there is
starting to
something,
bring her into
and
cognition.
I know that you know what I'm talking about and what I'm about to mention, but it's because I see it like in my dog Scout, who my cattle dog. There are some times where she will just shriek and yell, and then
Yeah.
she just goes like, "Why did I do that?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
that was dumb."
Yeah.
And like Remy is starting to show signs of that sort of like I'm going to do it, but with a little bit of indecision behind it.
Yes. Like I
But
made
she
this impulsive action, but then I'm self-reflecting about like,
I'm
wait, why
thinking
did I
about it
do
like
that?
what am I doing right
Yeah,
now?
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
That is still not a good enough place for me to be like heal. It's just not.
Because
She's just
there's
not
still
ready.
that impulse. Like there,
Right.
the dog is at the point where they are almost making a reflexive action that attempting to punish that is just it's
However,
not going to work.
that dog that is like indecisive, inviting them to play is should be an easy sell. Of course, it could go totally sideways, and I'm not going to abandon it after one. Hey guys, you're allowed to do things wrong sometimes if you're trying your best, and not everything works every fucking time. It's okay to make mistakes. So I'm not just going to abandon it wholesale if we have like 2 or 3 bad reps of it. I am going to try I'll try to revisit it, but again, I don't have a lot of time. Um, but I am for sure gonna be bringing both food and a toy, on walks. Um, and I'm gonna be going for that. It will be impossible to record. There's no chance I can record it.
No,
In the
no.
summer I'd be able to. I'd have my friend come and we would pick a
Yeah.
spot where I can predictably get like 1 or 2 dogs. Right now it's just I will be fortunate to find a dog on the street. Fortunate. Um, I can try going for a dog in a window. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But I'll let you guys know. I'll let you guys know what happens.
Have you ever
Um,
gotten yelled at by an owner whose dog is like yelling hysterically out the window and the owner is just like, dude, fucking move on?
well, I don't make a habit of like posting up and like doing drills in
Yeah, yeah.
people's yards.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I
I'm always very
have,
self-conscious about that, where like I'm like using a dog as a distraction of like, okay, I've
yeah,
got like 30 seconds maybe before, before
I've
I start
found
being rude.
I have found that the less my dog training looks like dog training, uh,
Yeah,
the less problem that I have with people out in
that's so
public.
interesting. That's so
Um,
interesting.
but I used to, I mean, I've got crazy, like insane stories, insane stories. I've had people like stalk me like a grown woman hiding a camera, like her phone under her shirt, literally moving from tree to tree and bush to bush when I was just walking a dog. But in terms of people getting pissed because their dog's going off, yeah, that has happened. Where people I think are really hurt that they can't control their dog and they
Oh,
just need to scream at
1000%.
something.
Yes.
And like
Yeah, it's just
I have
frustration and venting. Yeah,
I've
but it
told
is kind of funny.
I've told people, I had a lady one time, I was out with a client dog early in the morning trying to find squirrels actually, at a park, a huge, gigantic open park, like, I'm in a section that's effectively like a field, it's gigantic, and there's a lady walking her dog really far, like, I'm talking, like, fucking 100 yards away, and I've got my dog on maybe, like, a 30-foot line playing ball and stuff, and this lady, we're the only 2 people here. She could go any other direction, right? And she
Yeah.
screams, "Get control of your dog!" And like it was kind of like a cartoon. Like me and the dog looked at each other like, "What?" And we just like kept playing ball or whatever. And of course,
Yeah.
after she screams, her dog starts going nuts. And she gets a little bit closer. Her dog's just going full ballistic. She could be again pick any direction, right? And she's screaming at me, and I just said, "Hey, is that your dog?" And she was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Well, it's not my fault that he's awful." And she went fucking nuts, dude.
I bet.
"Well, he's not awful." I was like, "Well, what do you call this?" Oh, it's like crazy, like this. Yeah, I actually try really hard to not get into it with people anymore.
Yeah,
And
yeah. No, it's
I don't.
pointless.
I mean, I did have a guy threaten my life a few months ago, but I don't. I really try to keep a very low, like a low footprint, low profile. I'm in with my dog, and like I'm talking to people. This actually does connect to sort of the final thing about Rummy that I'm trying to do. And I started it yesterday with dogs, and I started it yesterday with people. There is one elephant in the room thing
Mhm.
that people just don't go there and they don't do, and that is to say answering the dog's questions.
Yeah. Yep.
So what do I know about Remy? Because not only of her history, but my extensive evaluation of her. Because I don't just look at a dog's behavior on leash and assume it means that they're a killer. I know that Remy fucking loves dogs. I know that Remy fucking loves human beings, right? So I guess we can start talking about the dog thing because it is what we did in the morning.
Yeah.
The very dog trainer thing to do with a dog that's blowing up at other dogs is to isolate them from their own kind. And to continue to push the thought in the dog's mind that other dogs that, like you said, this is like a variable schedule of reinforcement. It's sort of like a casino game. they're going to randomly show up in the environment, and they are this mysterious, thrilling, exciting, unknowable factor that you can never attain. The only chance you ever have to do something about it is to beat me to the punch and
Yep.
blow up so
If
fast that you
people
can get the leash out of my
play
hand.
the way that dog trainers act around reactive dogs, people would be 10 times better at play. Like, it's so funny. Like, if they
100%.
took that principle of
100%.
scarcity. Yeah.
100%.
Anyway, carry on.
100%. And that this is the best case scenario, and fortunately, it's the most common, which is the vast number of dogs that are explosive on leash have zero aggression, zero, zero intention to harm anyone or anything. They are just idiots, and they manifest it in these crazy explosive performances, right? And the thinking canines of the world, all of these psychos, they are very happy to just say from a distance, "Oh, look at him on leash. That he's afraid or he's angry and he's going to kill everybody." Well, you're all horrible people, and you know what I think you should do to yourselves. I say a prayer every night before bed that you do it. But why not answer the question, right? So the answer to the question is not that when you see a dog, it's a never. It's a forget about it. Pretend it's not there. Actually, if you look at it, something bad happens to you. And if you neurotically stare into my eyes, food comes out. That is not
Mhm,
an answer.
mhm. Actually,
That
sorry, just to
please.
tie back to the previous conversation, that's what I mean by, like, people get stuck in that trying to make an
Uh-huh.
incompatible obedience behavior, but the emotional state is just
Yeah.
that's TWC coded. The emotional state is not changing at all. And
So
you're
right.
not solving anything.
You're
Yeah.
not answering, you're not solving anything, you're not answering
Yep.
anything. The emotions will not change.
Yep.
You are playing a at best case misguided, at worst case a coward repressor's game, which
Mhm.
is I'm just going to hope the dog inevitably stops being who he is, and he's just going to get bored. It's like, well, actually, Remy's favorite thing in the world is other dogs. Who am I, the professional, someone who is supposed to be a steward of the dogs, someone who my duty is to the dogs that are in trouble? Who am I to tell that dog, actually, you are not you anymore?
Mhm.
You're going to be what I want you to be, which is a hollow, calm, sedate slop on the floor anytime other dogs are around. You know that would what that would make me if that was me? That would make me a bad person.
Yep. And,
I'm getting myself mad. I'm getting myself really
yeah,
mad.
yeah.
So
No,
so
but it's
so
it's impossible. Like, I
right.
think that's the
It,
other thing that
yeah.
is always people ultimately have to kind of confront the reality that the reason these dogs never change is because it is impossible to create. Remy is incapable of being sedate around other dogs. Like, it just
It's not
she's
she's
capable of
never
being neutral and in control on a walk, but
right.
she's not capable of just, like, not caring about them at all.
So I had to plug in my phone so you're getting like the profile view now. But
Nice.
yeah, that's not it is not natural for her to see a dog and not care. It's not. So I'm not going to try to do that to you because number one, it would be unfair, and number two, like you said, it's you're fighting nature.
Mhm.
So instead, I would rather be clear, which is to say, there are times where if you see a dog, you get to go see him. Like not see him as in you get to stand here in a sit while he's walking circles around you. I mean, you get to go play with him and sniff him, and we go for a walk, whatever it is. What is the one condition, Kimberly, that needs to be established for clarity to take place?
For clarity on when it's allowed and when it's not allowed to go say hi to a dog,
Yeah,
a release command.
on my release command.
Yep.
That is that is where
Do I pass?
yes. That is where the question is answered. And there's more that goes into this that I guess I can kind of rant on. Um, that let me just ask our cherished audience. if you're the dog and you know that I love dogs, sometimes I do get to go play with them and it's really sick. It's awesome. But I have zero control over the odds. Zero. There's nothing I can do nothing to make it more or less likely to happen. Nothing. Well, actually, if I act like an idiot, it's less likely to happen, but we'll get to that.
Yep.
Um, so if I have no control over whether or not I see the dogs, I am still allowed to be who I am. I love dogs. There's no crime. There's no thought crime of me liking dogs. It is purely up to my person whether or not this takes place. Does it then make any logical sense to hyperventilate about it? It makes no fucking sense. This
Yep.
is clarity.
And
Clarity has been achieved, right?
yep.
And in
This is
addition to
a
this, in addition to this, have to throw out the sack tap to the shitheads over on Planet Lima force free. If the dog makes the bad decision, they know they get physically punished. So not only does it not make sense, it is actively a bad decision to try to go do something about that on my own, unilaterally, just like, fuck it, I'm going to go, which is what's happening in her mind at the moment. Is that and decreasingly so, because of this strategy, I would say she feels like it is up to her to have her paws on the steering wheel. Actually, you are just along for the ride.
Mhm.
There is no screaming that can make me drive faster. There's no kicking the back seat to make me turn into the amusement park. It's no. Sometimes we do go there, sometimes we don't. And it is completely up to me or your custodian, your owner, your person that is handling you. It is not your call.
Yep.
That's it.
I think this is another one of those like myths that sort of has truisms in a certain context but lost the nuance over time. The idea that the dog should feel as if he's in control, um, and like the operant thing where, and I think partly it trickled down from the sport world, where people did start caring a little bit more about the dog's attitude and obedience and stuff like that in IGP. And it was like, okay, make the dog more operant and let him activate you and um, all those sorts of things. And that is true within the window that I open and go, hey, the bell rang for recess. Now we're playing a game that I am allowing you to have a sense of self efficacy in, but you don't get to ring that recess bell. But
Mm.
people end up stuck in this. They give the dog the lever
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
say, anytime you want to, you can activate me for fun
Yeah,
or
that's not good.
for whatever I want. And you end up with like sort of this, at best, a dog who's pushy. At
Monsters.
worst, a
You end up
dog
with a
who's
monster.
anxious. Yep. Yep. But a dog like, I mean, Remy's even a bad example, but I think to a point, her behavior in the house is probably, again, I don't know enough to make her a good example. So, but let's say a dog who's like really pushy in the house like that, that sort of restless anxiety type behavior is just almost a manifestation of overwhelm of choice. Well, you
So,
put
real
it in a way
quick.
of like the dog is constantly seeking answers.
Right.
Like being in that state is not
So,
healthy.
there was a comment. There was a comment from another friend of the friend of the program. His name's Derek Libby. He's based.
Mhm,
Um, that I don't know if I'm imagining it, but he just seems to be more mentally like here, like present, like in the moment. She's just content existing, right? And he said, "Am I imagining it, or did this happen since you introduced the concept of punishment?" And all I said back was, "You're not imagining it." She literally did not know being stopped was an option or stopping. She 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 is, and you can imagine the if you want to get really dark, the
mhm.
suffering that can take place.
Yeah. Well, because I think people hear you say, "Oh, you can't do anything to make this like you are just at the whim of my,"
Yeah,
that almost sounds like mean.
right.
Like on the
I
surface, it
say it
sounds
that way on
shitty and
purpose.
cruel.
I say it that
Yeah,
way on
yeah,
purpose to make people think.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Genuinely, genuinely.
yeah, yeah. But yeah,
It's
then
what it is.
the paradox is that it actually removes that anxiety.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And that is there is no replacing it.
Mhm, mhm.
It can't be done. So
Yep.
it is really powerful to see a dog finally be like, there is an element with each one of these types of dogs of, dude, why didn't anyone tell me?
Mhm, mhm. Yep,
Like, hello? I've been this way for fucking years where I can't just lay on the couch,
yep.
right? I just had her out for about an hour and a half after our Home Depot excursion this morning. I don't even have to keep an eye on her anymore. She grabs a toy or a bone and just lays on the couch and chews. And she's not up harassing the other dogs. She's not up. I mean, my kids, what's cool is like she's great with my kids. My kids will, which by the way, I didn't even know if I was gonna be able to introduce her to my kids because of the play biting, because it was the worst I've
Yeah,
ever seen, has gone away on its own. She
yeah.
she play bites my kids in an appropriate way. Like she's gentle. Like, but anyways, before the first week that I had her, before we had a couple of those moments where I'm like, yo, put the brakes on, she's just up like checking windows. Like you were talking about earlier, pushing us, checking with me. Like, dude, do something. Um, Fucking with the other dogs when they're trying to just nap or just hang out. Um, there's a my wife rolls her computer desk chair in the office down the hall behind a door, and, and Remy hears that sound and has to bolt to go investigate it. That is, I would say, decreased by like 75-80%. Um, and she is a hardwired dog, and she'll always have some of that in her. But it was her understanding what it means to be told enough.
Yes, yes.
Enough. Stop does not mean keep trying. It's the
Yeah.
opposite. It is the absence of trying. It is sort of, and I've called it anti-dog training before, um, because it is, in my opinion, the absence of command. It's and not just the absence of command, it's the absence of the receiving element of command in the dog's brain. Like, I am literally telling you to like full stop, like actually just stop. And it's kind of you can get into sort of like a semantics argument about it, but like atheism is not a religious belief. It is the absence of one, right? That is what a dog being told no to me is supposed to mean. It is the absence of looking for answers.
Yes.
That
Yep.
that is irreplaceable. There is no, as far as I know, there is no other way to achieve that level of peace in a dog's mind and clarity in a dog's mind.
Yep. Jay had saying that I've heard him say it before in videos where he says I free shape via punishment,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is that's exactly it.
Actually true. Actually true.
Yep. Yep.
Yes. Actually just true.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's interesting because like my knee jerk reaction is like I wouldn't put it like that, but it's like actually I would. That's exactly true.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That
Yeah. Because
actually is
there's no
just true.
reinforcement. Yep.
Right. Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, it doesn't have to be like hard punishment, but it's just like, hey, nothing's
No, no,
happening.
no.
Either
It's
extinction or punishment. Yeah.
right,
Which you
right.
could
And
argue is negative
I'm gonna
punishment. Yada
be
yada.
I'm gonna be because of my illness, I'm making excuses here. I do have a video coming to the shill section, the Patreon. I recorded the actual first session where I was conditioning the no. And you could, which it's hard to get that on camera because sometimes it just sporadically a moment comes up. Um, so like with that reactive shepherd Inga that you mentioned earlier, she by the time we went to go for a walk and I needed to get on her for fucking going nuts at people, the no had been conditioned one time prior, the day before, where she went to eat like fucking garbage off the ground. Or no, it was goose crap. It was goose crap. And that just happened in the moment as we were walking back to my car. So I can't be like, oh, I need it because So, but this one we actually with Remy, I actually got the whole thing because it was the way that we like to do it, which is in play. But there's no replacing that, and that again, like I keep thinking about how many dogs, so-called behavioral case dogs, that just are never told to stop.
Mhm.
Um, that just people think are these fucking monsters because they are they are leaving out 50% of the relevant information.
Mhm, mhm.
Half of the relevant
Yes.
information, which
Yep.
is just insane.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So we can either wrap it here unless you have more to say on that, or I had another potential topic that may or may not take some amount of time or take no time at all.
I I always have more to say, Kimberly. All right. But
Okay.
I do want today to be a shorter episode, so I
Yeah.
will call it
Yeah, yeah.
if that's
Okay.
cool.
Yep. That sounds
Yeah.
good.
This is a good one. I you actually um you probably saved me 3 more walks of doing the fucking food shit. Until I was finally like, yeah, I should bring the toy out. Like like that is actually just what I'm going to do next. I'm going to try, I don't know, any day, like I think later this afternoon it is supposed to clear up for a little while. We'll go out and I'll try to put little boots on her feet and
Yeah.
go look for
Yeah.
some dogs, and I'm gonna try to punish leaving the game.
Yep.
Um, and I'll let you guys know what happens if we can
I
arrange
mean,
it.
you could even kind of sort of set that up with your own dogs probably, just, like, make her
Yeah.
play while they're running around in the yard or make
Yeah.
your kid throw a
Uh-huh.
ball to the other dog or something, I don't
Uh-huh.
know,
Yep. That's actually
um,
a really that's another one. I actually think it may
but
with
yeah.
her specifically, it probably wouldn't work, but with a lot of dogs, absolutely.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, like, she's
I've
still
already trained obedience with her around my dogs. So
yeah, yeah,
she sort of has that already
that concept, yeah,
established.
yeah,
Um, that's a good point. Yeah. Well, I'll
but
let you guys know what happens.
yeah, sounds good. Alright. Well, thanks, guys.
Peace out.
See you next week.